Hey everybody, it's Magic Prepper, and I'm out here testing out some gear in the rain, trying to find out what will or won't work in this environment, and right now I'm at about a 50-50 as to what I have that will work and what won't work. And I had some thoughts that I wanted to share with everybody because there's a lot happening in our country right now. With this whole Title 42 expiration, a lot of people are very fixated on the border and trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. And something I want you to consider and keep in mind is that a lot of what we're witnessing right now feels very much like a controlled demolition, right? We are self-sabotaging in many ways. And obviously there's a lot of reasons for why that might be happening, especially from the elite class, because generally those people get to make these decisions that lead us down these paths. But what do we do about it as people who are in the preparedness community, right? Obviously the border is an area of concern. There's a lot of security issues that come along with those types of scenarios that we have to concern ourselves with and be ready for. But as preppers, we have to remember that this really big picture stuff is still relatively big picture, and we still need to get out and take care of ourselves and make sure that our local area, our immediate area, is well protected and taken care of, and not get so concerned with some of these national issues that we forget about what's happening within 1 mile of our home, right? Like they say, a lot of car accidents, I think it's the majority of them, happen within a mile of your home. It's because you're so much more likely to be comfortable in that area and to be driving back and forth between your home and wherever else you're going on a regular basis, that the likelihood of getting into an accident near your home is much higher than being very far away on some sort of road trip and getting into an accident there. So keep those things in mind, because yes, there's a lot of things we should be concerned about regarding the welfare of our country right now. I mean, controlled demolition is almost an understatement at this point, you know? It's like that whole 7 buildings thing, you know, that happened. I don't remember exactly what that is in reference to, but you understand what I'm trying to say, is that there's a lot of powers involved that we have no control over, right? And no matter how you feel about the political class or the politicians, right, we can do our best to try to keep moving that whole dog and pony show forward, but in all reality, the people who created these problems are also the ones who are going to make them worse, right? Very rarely are the solutions going to come from the political class at this point in time, because in all honesty, even taking some of the liability away from those people, because many of them aren't as competent as they like to seem, the problems have become so vast and so complicated that most of these people aren't qualified to actually figure out any real solutions for them anyway. So don't put too much faith in that system to solve a lot of these problems for you. Take control of what you have the capacity to take control of, like being in your area, understanding your terrain, understanding what you have access to, right? Like right now where I'm at, this is a little spot that I'm kind of scouting out to figure out maybe a defensible perimeter that's kind of on the edge of the property to see if there was any issues with some sort of, let's just call it force on force situation that we don't want to have happen here. Well, where would you take a position, right? Like those are things you should already have planned out rather than figuring it out on the fly in the moment, right? So I can just kind of show you here, but this is kind of like a little hidden grotto I'm in right here, but it's got good cover and it's got good camouflage. So, and look, I'm not some sort of tactical expert in that regard, but I at least have basic understandings of wanting cover and not wanting to reveal your position. So, you know, these are the things I'm trying to do. I'm also out here getting wet to find out if the clothing I'm wearing, the shoes I'm wearing, like these are Victos range trainer shoes, which I just picked up because they were a good deal and I wear a size 15, so I'm kind of limited on what my options are. But great shoes for running around in dry weather and moving and shooting and being in gravel and dust and everything else. But within about 15 minutes of walking through the wet, tall grass, my feet are soaking wet. So will they do the job as like a do-all shoe? No, I don't think so. Now, I'm also out here testing out an Eberly Stock Bandit, which is actually a really nice little day pack. And you guys know I love Eberly Stock stuff. I've had tons of their packs and always had a good experience. And this was actually sent to the channel by Midway USA. And obviously they're the biggest supporter of the channel and they take care of me in many, many ways, including helping me get high quality gear like this Eberly Stock Bandit. Now this will be something you'll see in the future regarding some night vision content, but I figure before I put a lot of expensive electronics in here, I should probably find out how water resistant it is, how important it would be to have some sort of rain cover if I found myself in a deluge of sorts, right? But either way, this is what I'm trying to get done. Like I have access to the property that I have in order to get outside and actually test out gear and find out what will or won't work for me. And I already know that I got to find better shoes if I want to have something that will work in all types of different environments, right? And then I also am going to find out how impervious this bag is to water and find out just how much additional protection my high-end expensive electronics will need when using this as like a night vision type bag. And the reason I'm doing that, just so you're aware, the reason I'm using it in that regard is because basically, hold on, I think the camera might have, whoop, there we go. It's raining pretty good, but is because I wanted something very slim, and this gets through doorways and doesn't get snagged on anything. And honestly, it's thinner than my profile, right? So I won't ever get caught up on anything by wearing this. So when you're wearing night vision, your situational awareness, your spatial awareness is really skewed, right? It's something you have to get very used to. So I figured having a pack that was this slim would help avoid any of those additional issues. So this is the stuff that I'm trying to do. And yes, there's a lot happening in this country that has me very concerned, especially because I have children. So their future is a concern of mine, right? I want them to be comfortable, secure, safe, and I want them to be successful and be able to, you know, have a quality of life that I would expect, you know, our children to have. And unfortunately, it seems like as time goes by, that becomes less and less likely, so that, well, at least less and less likely in the sense of our society providing that. So it's our job now as families and parents and friends and acquaintances, or whatever you want to call it, a community, right, to provide that for them, because we can't rely on our systems and our culture and anything else to actually do that for them down the road now, can we? So these are the types of things I'm doing. And by the way, if you are into night vision stuff, just be aware that Nightline Inc. is also a huge supporter of the channel, and Nightline Inc. just started selling to the civilian market. So if you're in the market for night vision and you haven't bought it yet and you have that kind of money to blow because it's super expensive stuff, well, if you go through Nightline Inc., which you have to actually talk to somebody on the phone for, which I appreciate because I don't know anything about this stuff, so having those conversations really help open my eyes to what it was I was actually looking for. Well, if that's something you're interested in, go to Nightline Inc.'s website, hit them up, and if you tell them that Magic Prepper sent you, then you'll actually get 15% off, which in the world of night vision is a ton of money off of your purchase. So I'm just throwing it out there. They're trying to get involved with the preparedness community. They have reasons to want to get the prepared citizen ready for the things that they feel might be coming. I'm just going to throw that out there as a side note. So, geez Louise. And just be aware, this Title 42 thing, this whole southern border thing, right? And a lot of the random acts that we're finding occurring more frequently down there in Texas, well, be aware most of this stuff's connected. It really is. And the entities involved, which I think you know exactly what I mean when I say that, have access to unlimited resources. They work with foreign adversaries, and any equipment or gear that we have access to, they have it as well, including stuff that we don't have access to. So anything you've seen used in like the Middle East when it comes to, I don't know, anything from helicopters to RPGs to whatever, right? Could be anything. They have it too. And that problem is only going to get worse as time goes on because they just keep getting more resources, more control, and more influence, right? So we have to do what we can to be ready for it. And part of that might just be sitting in the middle of a grotto, in the middle of a rainstorm, trying to find out if your feet are going to get wet or not. And that's like the best amount of control I have over the situation. Look, even if I was to get into politics, I don't think I could fix the problems that are happening right now. I'm not an expert on how to deal with human affairs of that magnitude, but I'll tell you what, the people who are in there right now aren't either. So there's not a lot of hope, I guess, at least in my opinion. We'll do what we can, and there is better leadership than what we have now. We know that's true, but we'll see if that ever comes into fruition, because I don't think that's exactly what everybody at the top wants to see happen, right? So, look, just do what you can, get things ready to go. I'm not excited about the way things are going, but I'm doing what I can do and what I have control over, and that's just me here, right? And hopefully, you know, by the end of the summer, I'll be able to share a lot of cool stuff with you guys when it comes to the homesteading aspect of what we're trying to, you know, accomplish here, which, you know, step by step. Can't do it all overnight. If I could, you know, create an entire food production environment here on this acreage that I currently have overnight, I would. But it turns out you need a lot more help and a lot more equipment to be able to pull something like that off than what I have access to right this second. But I am working on it, and it's on its way. So more of that in the future. If you guys need anything else from me, you know what to do. You can go to magicprepper.com. If you want to support the channel in a different way, you can go to Subscribestar, where I've got some exclusive content. Last month I gave out an EcoFlow unit. We do different preparedness incentives and stuff like that. They're not always that grandiose, but they're relevant to preparedness, and I just try to give back where I can. So I appreciate any support I get over there. And besides that, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.